Hi, yes, hello, and welcome to the Daria Reactions. I am Fred. If you are new to the channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. For those who don't know, we are doing essentially a full-on watch through of every episode of MTV's Daria for reaction, commentary, and discussion purposes. It's also for me like my big excuse to rewatch each and every single episode because it's been well over 25 years in many instances since I've seen many of these episodes. Granted, I'll have to when we get into like seasons, well, season. Yeah, no, I can get away with saying keep saying 25 years, depending on how things end up being paced out when we get into seasons 4 and 5. Uh, but I digress as I totally go off the rails here. Anyway, we're doing another episode this week, as I promised on quote unquote Wednesday. This time we're doing covering. We will be going over the episode "The Lost Girls" from season 3. What do I remember about this episode? I only remember one or two things about this episode. I think this is another, much like Death Takes a Holiday. This is another bit of a quote unquote nutty episode, and I think it's like an attempt at like an anthology storytelling that I because all I can remember is that, and I think it's this episode where the fashion club are walking along the street, they're passing by a house, and they tell a story about a girl who became so thin that her bones were rattling because they wanted, and it just like freaked everyone out or something or other. So again, it's a bit of a nutty episode, and I'm really starting to think like that is kind of to an extent the theme for season 3, because season 3 has had some nutty episodes to put a uh to put it mildly here. Uh, Death Takes a Holiday. Obviously, it's very very surreal in its own way. Some of the over the top stuff that was seen in The Old and the Beautiful regarding like how the senior citizens were treating Daria because of her voice. Daria Dance Party, which we obviously just talked about on Wednesday, with the and I'm still trying to get this visual out of my head of the two random dudes that Quinn has the escorts her to the dance, and like they smash up against her from opposite sides, and then Brittany being so aggressive on her date to make Kevin jealous. So it's like season 3 of Daria has again very it's a bit of a wacky season, or at least it's had more wacky over the top moments than seasons 1 and 2. And again, in terms of like if you're watching all these episodes like once or twice a week, watching episodes on a once a week basis, or in some cases twice, 2 episodes in a week, you start picking up on some of these things here. One thing I am hoping about this episode that none of the animation problems that I noticed with the previous episode happens in this one. It's like even without my glasses, I can tell like something just did not look right, and I'm still kind of I'm still trying also to like the whole thing with Mr. O'Neill's legs being suddenly so short, and that really weird off model shot of Jane. Again, it's disturbing in its own right. Anyway, as also display capture, we turn the blur on and off. No audio because again I'm going through the episode in its entirety here. So let's get into it. La 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 la. Oh, like what? Who's sworn to secrecy? Why? Like, why is he pulling her away? It's like Val. Oh no! 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 I remember this episode now. At least in terms of this aspect of it, Val is like one of those fashion magazine writers. So it's like the equivalent of like this teen beat magazines and such, and she still tries to appeal herself to like a younger demographic. And Mr. O'Neill submits Daria's essay to the magazine without her knowledge and stuff, and this is going to be this is another instance where Daria is going to be taking down somebody's ego, an adult whose ego is way too damn big. This not to the extreme of like the Tommy Sermon situation from the Misery chick. Yeah, lawsuit. Yeah, yeah. It's like as soon as it says the name Val, it's like that just clicked. That clicked. I just remember not liking that entire plot. That plot line. Yeah, and Principal Lee is looking to exploit Daria's winning the contest for Lawndale High. And it's like, ooh, this. If memory serves me right, this is gonna be this is gonna be a chore of an episode to sit through. Well, the school colors of Lawndale High are yellow and blue. The Jaywalking Dead coming soon to AMC. Yeah. Wow, everyone is into Val's visit. So my question is, given this episode is called "The Lost Girls," unless I unless I clicked the wrong one. No, no, the title credits did say "The Lost Girls." When the hell was the episode with the fashion club and the with that story that I was remembering? Cause I would have, well, again, my memory. It's oh boy. Yeah, watch her assume that Quinn is Daria. Oh, the Morgendorfers do have a dining room table. Yeah, 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 yeah. This is. You know, there are characters in Daria that I don't particularly care for, but I I don't like the character of Val at all. I mean, you go back to like the episode where you had those like the modeling agency people in that were it's like they were sleazeballs in their own way, but this is actually just painful. Preach, Daria. Preach, girl. Yeah, poor Jake. Yeah, yeah. This is. I would dare say this is actually one of the worst episodes in this entire series. No, be negative, Daria. Be negative, because I want that. One thing I'm going to have to do is I have to go back through this episode to get that sound clip. What does that word mean? Somebody tell me. And the random hug, I didn't comment on it earlier, but the random hug from Principal, from Mr. O'Neill, just grabbing Daria and her just saying lawsuit, makes me think that that's not the first time it's happened. Like Mr. O'Neill is probably like what Tony Khan is. Yeah, no, yeah, no. The office. The office told her, yeah. She's like, it's a publicity stunt. Go. Oh boy. Does she have a choice? Yeah, yeah. The difference between them is like Val is so wanting to fit in and appeal to like the youths. Say which one of my Kevin and Brittany the school colors day is like. It's like they're into it. I love those outfits. Those are wonderful outfits. That might be the high point of this episode. Outside of when Daria is gonna, I know, inevitably rip into Val. It was like we're just waiting for that to happen. Hey, is she really? Is she too recognizable? Like the the ego on Val makes Tommy Sherman's seems reasonable. 28? No, no. Look, this go going by like the animation standards in terms of like in terms of like the when they use or apply wrinkles to characters, Val as a character is as old as Jake, if not older. Mr. O'Neill is again shooting a shot. I don't think Mrs. Bradshaw would appreciate it. Signifying nothing. Yeah, yeah, she's just basically overtaking things. Yeah. Look, there is no chance in hell that Val was anything like Daria. Oh wait. Well, Jody went out of her way to try and bring up a topical thing here, but yeah, it would. Oh, of course he would ask a dating problem. Wait a second, Mr. O'Neill, well, no, he didn't really ask her. He tried to ask Mrs. Brandt out to dance, but he wasn't quite successful in asking. Uh, Because Daria is the one who won the contest. An unpopularity issue. So all right. So at the very least, we can get Val interacting with the fashion clubs. Yeah, I bet you did. Yeah, some popular people, and it's like the best of Lawndale fashion. In other words, their everyday looks. No, look, don't ignore, don't ditch Gidget like that. You know, Gidget was actually a memorable television character. So like one more act to get through. You can tell why it's like you can always tell when I don't give a damn about something. This episode is definitely is it. This is the popular table. Nope. She's Daria is room temperature. Yeah, she did. No, there was some coloring issue here. Like Jane's hair was slightly gray instead of like the normal dark shade of black. Yeah, yeah, Jane, you are doing well service here. Of course, Principal Lee would drag Daria to her office because Val is there. Wait a second. This raises a question here. If Val's wait, so are those magazines Principal Lee's? Yeah, this is about as educational as a hammer to the head. Maxwell Silverhammer. Who what? Who's a slut? She's having a personal crisis. Yeah. This episode is almost over. This episode is almost over. No, no, this episode is not going well at all. She has a Buddha in the background, so there's something. There's something I've noticed. So Principal Lee was a ballerina? Well, there was a memorable moment from Val. Well, that entire awkward exchange was actually a high point here. Need a career instructional seminar. See Mr. Swan? What type of main name is Swan? Suan. Nope. Look, we're trying to ignore things that you're saying, Val. The, she's zonked out. It's like, come on, come on, let this episode end already. Let's have profit off of youth culture. Here we go. Daria's getting into it. Preach, Daria. Preach. It's like Daria was actually being generous in saying that Val was in her 30 something. Because again, I'm thinking she's in her mid to upper 40s or early 50s. Oh, you look again. You look like you're in your mid 40s. Oh boy, and Val respond gets to rip into Daria. Daria is not disturbing. Look, you think like the anti-teen? You think Daria would actually care about that? Oh, but oh, I never want to see that particular episode again. I mean, outside. So clearly not the episode I was thinking it was going to be. I was expecting the episode where, like, again, it's like these little, like, anthology stories were being told. Like, again, we toss that is what I was thinking it was, and the second I realized, oh, this is the episode with Val, and then when that character appears on screen, and then I hate. Let me put it this way: I hated this episode when it first aired. Okay. Oh, again. So we're going back a long time. All right. We're going back over like 150 pounds. All right. I hate that episode then. I hate this episode even now. I mean, there is really nothing. Oh, I forgot to turn the display capture off there. Not that it has anything, just a folder where I save stuff. Anyway. But yeah, this was not a good episode. Because really, outside of at the dinner conversation where Daria like rips into what the word edgy is, and her rant, and then when she rips into Val directly towards the very end of the episode, because that's what it's definitely building towards. There is really nothing here other than you just find the character of Val increasingly annoying and frustrating on so many levels. It's and again, and I will compare this to the episode with the modeling agency that comes along Dale High, and everything associated with that in turn, because that's really like the closest comparison to some extent where something is something like high profile comes along Dale High. Principal Lee is like wants to take advantage of it for one reason or another, and it then explodes and then ends up badly for the outside agency to one extent or another. But unlike that episode, it actually had some memorable moments, such as like all the male guys being again the climax of the model agency episode, where you had like the guys with their shirts off, and you had like the teen and the various girls, and like Brittany being mad, and then Principal Lee walking in, seeing what the hell's happening, and then shuts that shit down outright. And I believe that's also the episode, and that's the episode that you have Kevin going through like the torture. Remember, serves me right, of like the of being a model. There is nothing in this episode here that's like that would make me want to. There's nothing there that's actually outright humorous. There is. It's like, okay, other than like you get like a couple of, like, there's some light chuckles here and there, but nothing that makes it stand out in a good way. There is nothing to what's the word I'm looking for? There's nothing that like makes me want to rewatch this episode. That's basically what it boils down to. And maybe there is that the fact that, okay, this is following in a season already. So this season 3, you have like episode where Daria gets contacts. You have Death Takes a Holiday with the high school teenager representation of the various holidays and stuff. Christmas, Halloween, Guy Fawkes Day, and everything surrounding that. Then you have Daria Dance Party. Then you have like The Old and the Beautiful with Daria reading the book to seniors. Where you have these literally like almost excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 or 5 bangers of episodes, like really, really good episodes. Then you have this one then you have the Lost Girls, and it's like it's just it's just like it's a real down point. And again, I would say I have to say it again because this is how I generally feel. It's like it's the worst since I started this series. All right, so we've gone through 26 and about 25, so 26, about 31 episodes, give or take. Give or take, with 30, 31, 32 episodes, all right? This has to be the worst episode of Daria. Because I can't think of anything that I've seen before over the past several months since I began the series that I can think that's as bad as this episode. I seriously can't. And I can't think, based on what I remember of things that come in from the rest of season 3, 4, and 5, anything as bad as this episode. There might be. All right, there might be. But, oh boy, it will be I'll end this like this. It will be a cold day in the hell before I willingly sit down and watch this particular episode of Daria ever again. Like, I never want to see this episode ever again. Never. Ever. So with that said, like, comment, subscribe, tighten your friendship braces, stay safe. Next week, we're only going to be doing one episode of the Daria reactions because I got something else planned for next Friday. And we'll see about what things will be looking like for the next week. And again, I have something special for next Friday in mind. So with that said, we'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.